Welcome to ACC.12. I'm Dr. Randy Martin with CardioSource Video News, and I'm thrilled to be joined now by Dr. John Rumsfeld. John is the National Director of the U.S. of Cardiology for the U.S. Veterans Health Administration, and he's also the Chief Scientific Officer for the NCDR. John, thanks very much for joining me.
Good to be here, Randy.
So, John, tell me a little bit about the NCDR and the role that data really plays in cardiology today.
Well, Randy, we're in a time of transformation in healthcare, and at the same time, the role and the relevance of registries like NCDR is changing radically. Let me just give a couple of quick examples. First, in the ambulatory registry, Pinnacle, the physicians enrolled are submitting their data for the PQRS, for the reimbursement from Medicare, and have had a 100% success rate in doing that, as opposed to the national average of 65%. We're also seeing the ACC members seeing value in the reports that the hospitals get from NCDR, because they're now integrating with the hospitals, and many of them are putting in their contracts that they'll work with the NCDR data at their hospital, and we're also moving to tie the NCDR data to getting maintenance of certification.
Oh, that's fabulous. So the critical role in cardiology today.
Yeah, I think it's increasingly becoming part of clinical care, not just some secondary database.
Right. And John, to that point, I understand you all have 29 abstracts here from 6 of the registries. Is that correct?
Yeah, just 29 abstracts from NCDR here.
Give me some examples.
Yeah, a couple of quick highlights. One, there'll be a late-breaking clinical trial of the combined Society for Thoracic Surgeons, or STS database, and the NCDR PCI database. And I think that what's going to be most interesting about that is, first of all, the partnership. It's an important thing to do, but also to see how are clinical decisions being made about which mode of revascularization. This is really exciting. Another thing that's being presented here is in the Pinnacle registry in the ambulatory sense, you're going to see a abstract being presented about, in Indiana, one of the hospitals is using it for all their fellows in training. In other words, as part of their performance improvement they have to do for their fellowship, instead of reinventing the wheel, they're just using the Pinnacle data.
That's interesting. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, because it sounds very interesting.
Yeah. Well, as we're seeing, the Pinnacle registry, the ambulatory registry, just is skyrocketing. Okay, over 1,000 cardiologists, because it's lining up with all the things in healthcare reform. But one of the most, I think, compelling things is that a few sites are realizing how important it is for training fellows. And what they're saying is fellows are in outpatient practice.
Sure.
We rarely get much quality improvement or quality assessment, and what they're doing is having the fellows participate in Pinnacle directly. They get their own data back, and they can see the benchmark to each other, but also to the national benchmarks, and they're using it to meet the requirements of fellowship.
And it's basically training them on, I mean, so when they go out into practice, this is going to be a natural outgrowth of their training.
That's exactly right. And I should mention that this is data capture in Pinnacle. In other words, we're getting it from the electronic health records. People aren't sitting in their cardiovascular practices filling out forms or hiring data people. They were getting it out of the EHR.
Well, that's fabulous. John, and finally, it's great information. How do the cardiologists and the researchers learn more about how they access this data?
Yeah, I think that's an important point, Randy, which is, first of all, anybody can go to ncdr.com, and right there you can see how to apply for research in any of the registries. I think it isn't well known yet enough that the registries are open to research proposals from anyone. And what we're really seeing is an explosion in proposals from fellows in training. A lot of the program directors are steering their fellows to say, you should do research that would be national, important research using NCDR. The NCDR research is getting published in the top journals, over 150 peer-reviewed publications, and our own journal, Journal of the American College of Cardiology, is extremely interested in publishing NCDR research. Well,
I mean, it's obviously a very vibrant aspect of the practice of cardiology today. Congratulations on all that you all have done with this. If you look, and just one quick question, if you look in the future, where do you see this registry playing 5 years, 10 years from now?
Well, here's what I think. I think the word registry is going to change completely. What people are thinking now is registry is secondary data. And in the future, what's going to happen is just part of your routine care. The care you're delivering, you document your ambulatory, your episode of care, in the office or in the hospital, or we do an angioplasty. When you go to just do that report, that data will automatically go to NCDR. It'll provide back your quality benchmarks. potentially decision support at the point of care about appropriateness
Right,
and other
right.
things, and it'll meet all of your reporting requirements to the payers. That's where we're headed.
it.
Also, your maintenance of certification.
That's absolutely fabulous. John, thanks again. Thanks for all you're doing, and thanks for visiting with us today. And we encourage each of you to stay with us, and we'll have a lot more in just a few minutes.